Hello everyone, and welcome to One Man Stream. In today's tutorial, we are going to continue on our mini-series that we started. This will be part 3 of 5, and the name of the series is Change Your Entire Production with Just a Few Clicks. And today what we'll be doing is we'll really be getting into the meat and potatoes of setting up the spreadsheet. And what we'll be doing is we'll be creating lists using data validation within Excel, and then we'll also be utilizing VLOOKUP within Excel to search for information that we want returned so that we can later use it in our graphics. So this will be One Man Stream episode 92. And just to kind of refresh your memory on this journey that we started in this mini-series, part 1 was an overview, and all we did in that one is I took you through the spreadsheet set, and I showed you all the different tabs. There were 10 different tabs, and we just kind of spoke about each tab. In the last one we did, that was part 2, and that was constructing the Excel spreadsheet. And I changed it up once I started the tutorial. Instead of starting from scratch, what I decided to do was to remove all the information from the spreadsheet set, but I left all the functions within the spreadsheet set. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use that blank spreadsheet and we're going to start creating lists and utilizing the information that we input into these sheets. In the notes for the previous 2 tutorials, I actually have a link to where you can download the spreadsheet set so you don't have to create it all from scratch. And like I said, that spreadsheet set does have the functionality in it. All the functions are still there. But that's what we're going to use today as our baseline to start. In part 4, we're going to be mapping the individual graphics after we get all this information in there today. And then part 5 is going to be a game day setup example. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate how I set it up to do one of my productions. So today it's part 3, creating lists and utilizing VLOOKUP. And we're going to have that and so much more for you today on One Man Stream. Before we get started, if you could take a minute and stop by our website, onemanstream.com. That's our new online store, and we have the graphics that we've created along the way, as well as the vMix UTC controllers that we've created during this tutorial series. And I've also finally been able to put up some One Man Stream merchandise if you're interested in that. I have One Man Stream t-shirts with a small logo on the chest and then the large One Man Stream logo on the back. And then I also have some One Man Stream mouse pads. For this month only, which is now the month of April, if you order a t-shirt, I'll include a mouse pad at no charge. So that is at our online store. That's www.onemanstream.com. So let's go ahead and get into today's tutorial. We have a lot of ground to cover and a lot of information that I'm going to share with you. So to start off with today, we're going to set up the Teams tab. And that's this tab right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the KHSAA website. And this is how I originally set it up, except before they had this set up a little bit differently. And there's actually some links here that are pretty helpful. And I'm actually going to go back and use this in my setup. If I click on this, well, let's choose someone that I know a little bit about. Let's go to Male High School. If I click on this right here, it's going to go to the school directory for this high school. You can see right here we have the logo. Then we can see the location, and it gives me a lot of information. It's going to tell me who the athletic director is, who the principal is, designated representative, and it's going to give me a lot of other information. It's going to tell me about their stadium. So it's going to give me an awful lot of background information. It's also going to tell me all the sports that they have there and all the coaches' names too, which is really, really helpful. What I did, let's go ahead and go back to this. I'm going to click on the first one, Adair County. And I'm going to scroll over as far as I can. That's going to get me to about Warren East. I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to come over to our spreadsheet, choose this cell, right click and paste. And you can see where it brought all of those teams in. But let's go ahead and finish this list out. Let's go to the bottom and let's take from Warren East. So we're going to go Washington County all the way down here to Woodford County. Right click, copy. Right click, right click, paste. And now we have all the teams in there. And let's go ahead and see if this works for us, see if those links are included. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on Ballard. And sure enough, when I go to my browser, it has Ballard pulled up, and then it has all the information for Ballard. So that was the first thing. That is just setting up the list for the teams. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to import the school logos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my File Explorer, and I'm going to go to my network drive. I'm going to click on this button right here, and I'm going to go to where it says High School Logos for One Man Stream. I'm going to click on the first one, hold down my Shift key. I'm going to click on the last one, and then I'm going to click on this button here, and you can see where all of them were selected. And then I'm going to click on this button here that says Copy Path. So I've copied the path on all those, and I'm going to come over here to the very first cell. I'm going to right click and paste. So now I'll be able to use every one of these logos in my production. Now I want to make sure that there's no quotation marks. We've talked about this many times through many tutorials. If there's quotation marks brought over when you import these, they will not display correctly in your graphics. And as you can see, there's no quotation mark included. So all these are going to work just fine. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the play-by-play names. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open Notepad, and I'm going to slide Notepad over here so you can see what's going on. And I'm going to click Open. And this is what we want right here, play-by-play dudes for demo. So I'm going to click OK. That's going to bring these names in here. So we're just going to copy these, highlight them, copy. Then I'm going to come over here on the play-by-play names tab, select the first cell, right click and paste, and it brings those names in. Analyst names, we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to bring my Notepad up again. I'm going to click File, Open. I'm going to come here to where it says Analyst Names for Demo. I'm going to click Open, and I'm going to copy these and paste these in here. Sponsor images, same thing. I think I have a tab set up for that. Let's go back to our Notepad, click Open. Yep, sponsor images for demo. Click Open. Here's some sponsor images that I have. I'm just going to select them, right click and copy, and then come back over here, choose that first cell, right click and paste. And as you can see, we do not have quotation marks, so when we use these will display properly. Now you would do the exact same thing for football coaches images and basketball coaches images. Let's go back to network. Here we go, football coaches pictures. Going to select the first one, hold down the Shift key, scroll down to the bottom, select the last one. Again, we're going to come up here and click Copy Path. Then we're going to come back up here to the first one, select it, that very first cell, right click and paste, and it brought in all the football coaches images. Now we're going to do basketball. We would do it the exact same way for basketball coaches images. However, I don't have any of those set up on this machine, so I won't be able to do that for you. But you would do the exact same thing. You would just go to your list of coaches. You would select them all. You would right click and copy path. And then you would come over to this tab, select the first cell, right click and paste. And it would bring all those in. The next one, I left this information on the spreadsheet. This is the hexadecimal information. I went ahead and left it here. So you will have this when you download the spreadsheet. So you'll have all the hexadecimal indicators right here for the color names. And you'll be able to import those into your spreadsheet as well. So we have all those tabs filled now. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to manipulate the information that we just put in. So we're going to go to main production. And as you can see, all this says non-applicable up here, and that's because we have no information in the spreadsheet. And like I said, the functionality was still here. However, so you can still see the drop-down menus. Oh, it brought all the, sweet. It brought all those back in. That's awesome. So that'll happen for you too as well. When you bring it into that tab, it's automatically going to import them. Let's see if it also did it for the visiting team as well, and it did, so that's awesome. But let me show you how you would do that. Say right here, you decide that this is where you want to have your teams. What you would do is you would select that cell, and then you would go to data. And then right here where it says data validation, you're going to click on that, and you're going to click on this drop down arrow, and then you're going to select data validation. You would come here to where it says allow, and what you're looking for is list. And then it brings this in here, and this is what your range is going to be. Okay, so we're going to select the first cell. We're going to hold down the shift key. Then we're going to come all the way down here. Select that cell. And you can see where we have our range. We have the beginning cell, which is A2. And then we have the ending cell, which is A291. So we click OK. Now, if we go here and click on this drop-down menu, you can see where it brought in all those teams. So that's how I set up the home team name and the visiting team name. And you would do the exact same thing for the play-by-play and color analysts. Now, I just select Ballard from the drop-down list, and you can see where it brought in all zeros through here, up to where it says team name visitor. Let's go ahead and bring in a visiting team. I'm going to select male. I'm going to hit enter. And you can see now where it has zeros for the visiting team. The reason why is it's pulling the information from this teams list. Let's go back to the top. And you can see we have no information in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start adding some information. So for Ballard, team name in all caps, B-A-L-L-A-R-D. We're going to tab over team name and mascot, Ballard Bruins. Short name, that's going to be for the scoreboard, but we're just going to go with Ballard. Sometimes we have to shorten those, but Ballard we can get on there even with the limited space on the scoreboard. Mascot name, we're going to go with Bruins. And the reason I have it broke down like this, certain graphics require certain bits of information, and sometimes I'll use the name and mascot. Sometimes I'll use just the team name. Sometimes I'll use just the mascot name, and that's why it's broken down like this. I'm going to stop right here for just a second, and we're going to go back here to where it says school logos. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a drop-down list for the school logos. Let's go back to Teams. And under this very first one, and you'll find out just in a minute why I'm doing this, we're just going to select this cell, but it's already brought in all of these. Let's go down here. So we're just going to do this as test team. We're just going to call them best team, and then their mascot name is going to be the best team Tigers, and this is the one that's for scoreboard, so we're just going to shorten this up, BTT, and then we're just going to put in Tigers. And then this right here is where the mascot logo is going to go. Well, you can see up here we already have these drop-down menus that have all these logos in it. Well, I wanted to show you how we create those. So what you would do is you would go right here. You would go to data, like we did. You would go to data validation, hit the drop-down arrow, click on data validation. Under allow, we're going to go to lists. Then we're going to go to school logos. We're going to go to the top. Select the first one in the list, hold down the shift key, scroll down, select the last one in the list, and then click OK. And you can see where it brought all those logos in. We're just going to go ahead and use this one for example purposes. So that's how you would set the team up. And there'll be a little bit more information that you would put in here. Mascot image for Ballard. We'll have that. Let's go up to the very top. We'll select this one. Team color, they are maroon. Let's just go ahead and type it in. Maroon, we'll select that. And I'll show you how we bring in that associated hexadecimal color in just a moment. Football coaches images. All right, we did football coaches. So let's go back to teams. So we would select this. We would go to data, which we still have selected. We would go to data validation, select the drop down arrow once more, select data validation. We're going to come here again and select list. And then we are going to go to our football coaches images, select the first cell. Again, hold down the shift key, select the last cell, and you can see where our range came in as A1 through A65. We'll click OK. And now you can see where we have those available to us in this drop-down list. Okay, now one thing I did want to show you a minute ago, and I got ahead of myself like I do a lot. Once you have this set up, you don't have to set it up for all the ones after it. What you can do is highlight it, and you'll see right here where there's a little green square in this lower right-hand corner. Select it and bring it down. And when we click out of these, you're going to see that we have drop-down menus now for every one of these. So once you make the list for one, and that's why I always start at the top, all you have to do is drag it down throughout that entire column, and it's going to populate all that information for you all the way down. So we're going to go a little bit further over, and we're going to go basketball coach's name, football coach's name. And then this is information that I'm going to be bringing in to this sheet right here, which is the data source for overlays. I'm going to be bringing this information in. And you can see already as we've started selecting it, it's bringing this information into our spreadsheet. So we're going to go back to teams. And this is where I type in head coach. And then I'll put their name here. And let's see if it brought that in. Yep, you can see as soon as I put that information in and brought it in, the coach's photo, we're going to go here to football coaches. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to select this one, copy. Then I'm going to go to basketball coaches. I'm going to select the first cell and click paste. Brought all those in, again without quotation marks, so we know we're good to go. So now when we go back to the teams page and select the drop-down menu, now we have coaches. So I was just doing that to bring in a coach. I know it's a football coach where it says basketball, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So now let's go back to our data sources, and you can see where it brought the football coach in. So all this information is going to be brought into our opening graphic. We'll show you how to do that in a later tutorial. But you can see as I'm starting to put this information in the spreadsheet, it's automatically pulling it in and doing what it's supposed to. Filled out Ballard. So let's fill out male. We're just going to use male as, this is for the scoreboard input. This is going to be just the mascot, Bulldogs. We're going to use that. This is going to be their color. Male is, well, we can make it plum. Plum's purple. We're going to bring that in just a minute. And we're going to go back to this. Let's go back and click on the that little green dot again. We're going to pull this all the way down till we get to male. And again, this is just for demonstration purposes, but you would take this all the way through the end of your spreadsheet. And you can see where it brings all that information in. So let's go ahead and select a head coach for male. This is basketball coach's name, Coach Hayworth. Coach Wolf. Let's go back to our main production, and you can see where it starts to bring in some of that information. Visiting team, home team. Team hexadecimal color, we still need to set that up, and I'll show you how to do that with VLOOKUP. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to select Ballard. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to use VLOOKUP. So you can see from up here when we select Ballard, it brings all this information in. Well, how does it do that? Well, this is where VLOOKUP comes in. And before we get too far into VLOOKUP, I'm going to go ahead and explain to you what VLOOKUP does. What VLOOKUP, it stands for vertical lookup, and what it allows us to do is it allows us to search a range of information, tell it from that range of information what we're looking for, and then it's going to pull that information out and put it in a specific place. Well, there are some steps that we have to do in order for this to work. To start the process, what we do is we put an equal sign in the cell where we want the result returned. Okay, so that's the most important thing. Then what we're going to do is we're going to choose where we input the search term, or what the search term is going to be. So in this case, it's going to be the team name. And then we're going to set us out a data range so it knows where to look. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tell it where in that data range we want that information pulled. And then the last part of the four-part argument is whether true or false. True is an exact match, false is not an exact match, and we don't have to have an exact match. On our Teams tab over here to the far left, you're going to see all the schools listed, and they appear in blue. This would be designated for the purposes of VLOOKUP. This will be designated row 1. So our search term is going to be row 1. And then what VLOOKUP does is it starts left to right, and it's going to start in the next column to it, and it's going to read left to right. So row B, where it says team name caps, this would be designated 2. I'm sorry, not row B, column B. Column C, where it's designated team name and mascot caps, this is going to be row 3. Column D, that says team name short caps, this is going to be designated column 4. And then mascot name, which in this example here is column E, this is going to be designated row 5. So for the purposes of VLOOKUP, this will be row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and row 5. So now that we've taken a look at VLOOKUP and defined what it does, now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to do a real case usage with it. So what I'm going to do is on this one right here, I'm going to click and I'm going to type in the equal sign, and then I'm going to start typing VLOOKUP. And when I do, you can see the function comes up here. So I'm going to double click on it. And the first thing that pops up is our lookup value, where our lookup value is going to be right here, which is A40. Then we're going to make a comma. And then the next thing is our table array or our data range. Well, that's on this Teams tab here. So we're going to go up here to the very first entry, which is Adair County. We're going to click on that. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. We're going to scroll down all the way to the bottom where it says Woodford County, and then give us a little bit of room to grow. And then we're going to come over here to cell K, and this is right here, K299, and that's going to be our data range. So we'll go ahead and put a comma here, and then we're going to be looking in row 2 for this first bit of information. So we're going to put 2 there, and then we put a comma, and then we're going to type in false. And you can see where it brought back the school name. We put it in smalls, it brings it back to us in all capitals, and this all capitals is the way that we're going to use it in our graphic. So we'll do it one more time. We're going to go equals, type in VLOOKUP. When it function pops up, we'll double click. Again, our search term is right here, which is A40. We're going to do a comma. And then our data range is again on the Teams worksheet. So we'll take this all the way back up to the top. We'll click on Adair County, which is A2. Hold down the Shift key. Go down here to the bottom, back to where K299 was. And then we're going to put a comma in. And then this time we're going to be looking in row 3. Another comma. And then we'll type in false and hit enter. And again, it brings us back the information we were seeking, which was the team name with mascot. Now, another way that you can go about this is you can see where that little green block comes in on the bottom right. We can go to that and slide this over. And it's going to bring over the function. But when it brings over the function, it changes some of the information. So we're going to have to go up here to where it says B40 and change it to A40, which is where our search term is. And then our data range, as we know, is A2 to K299. This time we're looking in row 4, and again we type in false, and we get the name all capital. Now this very last one, we're going to do this one even a different way. We're going to type in equal and then VLOOKUP. Going to go up here and we're going to double click on this. Our search term is A2, comma. Our data range is teams, and we're just going to type this in, teams exclamation point, and then we're going to go A2 colon K299 comma, and then we're going to be looking in row 5 this time for just the mascot name, comma again, and type in false, and it brings in Bruins, which is the mascot name. So that's 3 different ways that you can use VLOOKUP. Now, to get to the point that we're at in today's tutorial is taking a little bit longer than I had anticipated, so we're going to go ahead and stop it here today. But when we come back in the next installment, I'll show you how to put the information in for the home team and visitor team, and then how we'll use VLOOKUP in order to get the starting lineup that's going to go into our starting lineup graphic. And then we'll show you how we incorporate the information into this right here, which is the data source for overlays. And you can see where a lot of this information is in here right now. But I'll show you this tab, data source for overlays. We'll go ahead and complete this out. And then in the next tutorial, we'll go ahead and map some graphics. If you like what we're doing here at One Man Stream, please give us a thumbs up and a like. Make sure that you do subscribe so that you'll be alerted as soon as new videos are posted. If you get an opportunity, please stop by the website, which is onemanstream.com. That's where we have the graphics that we've made during this tutorial series, along with the vMix UTC controllers that we've created. And we also have some new One Man Stream merchandise there. We have some t-shirts and mouse pads, and for the entire month of April, if you purchase a t-shirt, I'll go ahead and throw in a free mouse pad. That's at onemanstream.com. I really do appreciate you guys taking time to watch these tutorials. As always, thank you so much.